Every single morning, 447,000 people wake up in New Jersey, get dressed for work, and participate in one of the largest daily wealth transfers in America. They leave the state, crossing bridges, taking ferries, packing into trains, and commuting to one of the highest-paying job markets on the planet, New York City. Then at the end of the day, they come home and they bring their Wall Street salaries back with them. That transfer equates to $61.7 billion flowing into New Jersey's economy every single year. It's basically a pipeline directly into Manhattan's wallet, and it might just be the most brilliant economic strategy any U.S. state has ever stumbled into. New Jersey has more millionaires per capita than any other state in America. Not California, with its tech billionaires, or Texas with its oil fortunes. Not even New York, with Wall Street itself. New Jersey, the state famous for toll roads, industrial zones, and being the butt of jokes on late-night television, has quietly become the wealthiest state in the union by one very important metric: the concentration of millionaire households. But this isn't a story about old money or inherited wealth. This is a story about geographic arbitrage, pharmaceutical empires, and property taxes so high they accidentally created a self-selecting wealthy population. It's a tale about what happens when you build an economy around being the smartest person in the room rather than the person with the most natural resources in the ground. To understand how New Jersey pulled this off, we need to answer a few important questions. How did New Jersey become America's millionaire factory? What industries and economic forces are concentrating wealth in the state at such an unprecedented rate? And finally, is this sustainable, or is New Jersey's wealth just borrowed from the states around it? Let's start with the most obvious and yet somehow most overlooked factor in New Jersey's wealth accumulation: geography. New Jersey sits right next to New York City, and not just anywhere near it, but directly across the river from Manhattan, one of the most concentrated centers of high-paying jobs in human history. Every single business day, roughly 500,000 people cross from New Jersey into Manhattan. 126,000 cars, 1,400 buses, and hundreds of thousands of train and ferry passengers, all heading to jobs that pay substantially more than what they could earn back home. Here's the thing that makes this so economically powerful. The average New Jersey resident commuting to New York City earns $138,000 per year. These 447,000 commuters collectively earn $61.7 billion annually, and the majority of that money gets spent or invested back in New Jersey. They buy homes, shop, and pay their property taxes in Jersey. And through what economists call the multiplier effect, those earnings create an additional 310,000 jobs and $30 billion in local New Jersey earnings. To put this in perspective, 23% of all wages earned by New Jersey residents come from people who work in New York City. Nearly 1/4 of the entire state's income is imported from across the river. It's the economic equivalent of setting up a toll booth on the bridge to Manhattan, except instead of collecting $15 from everyone who crosses, they're collecting six-figure salaries. But New Jersey didn't just get lucky with geography. The state actively invested in infrastructure to make this commuter arbitrage as efficient as possible. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, New Jersey Transit introduced the Midtown Direct Service, a project that reduced commute times from places like Summit, Chatham, and Madison by 20 minutes each way. That might not sound like much, but when you're talking about what used to be an hour-plus trip, that's the difference between a tolerable commute and an unbearable one. Almost overnight, these towns became millionaire magnets. Today, you can hop on a train in Morris County and be at Penn Station in Midtown Manhattan in 38 to 45 minutes. That's faster than a lot of people who actually live in New York City can get to work. The ferry system makes it even more attractive. High-speed ferries can get someone from Rumson to Manhattan in 45 minutes. From Hoboken or Weehawken, it's 10 to 15 minutes to Midtown. And here's a crucial detail. The people taking those ferries tend to work in FIRE industries: finance, insurance, and real estate, which are among the highest-paying sectors in the entire economy. Hudson County, which includes Jersey City and Hoboken, saw a 34% increase in Manhattan commuters between 2002 and 2009. Meanwhile, northern New Jersey's population grew 22% from 1990 to 2020. Compare that to Long Island's 12% growth or Connecticut's 11% growth over the same period, and you start to see the pattern. New Jersey positioned itself as the best place to live if you want to work in New York City without dealing with the chaos of living there. Now it's worth mentioning that South Jersey has a similar dynamic with Philadelphia, though on a much smaller scale. Around 50,000 to 75,000 New Jersey residents commute to Philadelphia for work, and while that's significant, it's nowhere near the 447,000 heading to New York. The median salary in Philadelphia is around $75,000 to $85,000, compared to New York's $100,000 to $140,000 range, so the wealth import effect isn't nearly as pronounced. But it still matters. Towns like Moorestown and Mount Laurel in Burlington County, or Cherry Hill and Haddonfield in Camden County, all benefit from Philadelphia proximity. Moorestown's median home price sits in the high $700,000, making it one of the wealthiest communities in South Jersey. These are bedroom communities for Philadelphia lawyers, doctors, and executives who prefer South Jersey's pace of life and better schools. But New Jersey isn't just a bedroom community for New York City. It has its own economic engine, and that engine runs on pharmaceutical innovation. New Jersey is home to 86,000 life sciences jobs as of 2025, and these aren't your average manufacturing positions. The average annual salary in New Jersey's life sciences sector is $182,000. That's more than double the state average of $78,000. These 86,000 workers collectively earn $15.6 billion in wages, which represents 5.3% of all wages paid in the entire state. While many states have factories, New Jersey has laboratories, and those laboratories print money. From 2018 to 2023, the life sciences sector added 13,000 new jobs, a 17.9% growth rate at a time when many other industries were contracting or stagnating. And here's the multiplier effect again. Every single pharmaceutical job in New Jersey creates an additional 1.4 jobs elsewhere in the state's economy. The guy making $200,000 a year as a researcher at Merck needs accountants, lawyers, real estate agents, contractors to renovate his house, restaurants to eat at, and stores to shop in. That's how 86,000 high-paying jobs create an economic impact far beyond the lab. New Jersey has been nicknamed the medicine chest of the world, and it's not an exaggeration. 1/3 of all new drugs currently in clinical trials come from New Jersey companies. The state is home to 2,400 life sciences establishments, and these companies collectively spend $7.5 billion annually on research and development. Johnson & Johnson, Merck, Bristol-Myers Squibb are not only big employers, they're stock option millionaire factories. When Johnson & Johnson's stock goes up, thousands of mid-level employees with equity packages suddenly turn into millionaires. Senior scientists and researchers earn an average of $131,000, but pharmaceutical R&D workers can make well over $200,000. And executives at companies like J&J or Merck can pull in anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million or more when you factor in stock options and bonuses. This creates a unique kind of wealth concentration that's different from the commuter effect we talked about earlier. These are people who live and work in New Jersey, who build their entire careers in the state, and who accumulate wealth not just through salaries but through equity in some of the most valuable companies on earth. It's the kind of wealth that compounds, gets reinvested, and builds generational stability. It's sustainable in a way that resource extraction or manufacturing could never be, because as long as people need medicine and New Jersey remains the global center of pharmaceutical innovation, this economic engine keeps running. Then, there's the corporate headquarters effect. New Jersey is home to 15 Fortune 500 companies, and when you're the headquarters state for companies of that caliber, massive economic ecosystems are created in the area. Prudential Financial anchors Newark's finance sector, employing over 40,000 people. Johnson & Johnson alone employs 138,000 people globally, with tens of thousands of those positions in New Jersey. Cognizant, ADP, and PSE&G all maintain major operations in the state. These companies pay well and create wealth pyramids within Jersey's borders. Here's how that works. For every CEO making $10 million, there are vice presidents making $500,000, directors making $250,000, and thousands of employees with six-figure salaries and stock packages. It's a cascading effect where the executive compensation at the top creates demand for high-earning professionals all the way down the org chart. New Jersey's finance sector alone employs over 224,000 people with an average salary of $157,000, which is 94% higher than the state average. From 2018 to 2023, the finance sector added 11,400 jobs and saw wages increase by 25.4%. And then there are the state's billionaires. John Overdeck, founder of Two Sigma, lives in Millburn with a net worth of $7.4 billion. Hedge fund billionaire Larry Robbins lives in Alpine. Media and telecom billionaire Rocco Commisso calls Saddle River home. These men are employers and investors who bring thousands of high-paying jobs into the state. When a billionaire sets up a hedge fund in New Jersey, they hire analysts, traders, operations staff, compliance officers, all of whom need to earn enough to afford living near the office, which means six-figure salaries become the baseline. Now we come to what might be the most counterintuitive part of New Jersey's wealth story: the property taxes. New Jersey has the highest property taxes in America, with an average bill of $10,570 in 2025. In places like Bergen County, it's nearly $14,000. In ultra-rich towns like Saddle River, the average is around $21,000 per year. That's 2.2% of a home's value going to property taxes annually, the highest rate in the country by a rather significant margin. And yet, this hasn't driven wealthy people away. If anything, it's concentrated them. Here's the paradox. In reality, only people earning $150,000 or more can afford to pay $15,000 to $20,000 a year in property taxes. That creates a self-selecting population. If you can't afford the taxes, you quite literally cannot live in towns like Alpine, Short Hills, or Saddle River. But if you bought a house in one of these towns 20 or 30 years ago and managed to hold on, you're now sitting on a gold mine. A home purchased in Short Hills for $500,000 in 1995 would be worth around $2.2 million today. That's a $1.7 million gain in home equity. The high property taxes forced you to maintain a high income just to stay in the house, which means you had to remain wealthy to keep the asset, which appreciated dramatically because demand from other wealthy people kept driving prices higher. From 2010 to 2020, the median home value in New Jersey increased by over 60%. In Bergen County, the median home is now $625,000. In Morris County, it's $639,000. These houses are rapidly appreciating assets that have turned homeowners into millionaires through equity accumulation alone. In Hunterdon County, nearly 50% of homes are valued over $1 million. Properties in towns like Milburn and Rumson that sold for $400,000 to $800,000 in the 1990s now routinely go for $2 million to $5 million. The wealth concentration effect is real. High property taxes keep out everyone except high earners. High demand from high earners drives prices up. Rising prices create home equity millionaires, and the cycle continues. The high property taxes didn't drive wealth away. They simply concentrated it. They acted as a filter, ensuring that only people who could afford to be there actually lived there. This maintained the desirability of these communities, which justified the high prices, which created the wealth accumulation. It's a paradox, but it works. So that brings us to the big question. Is New Jersey's millionaire factory sustainable? Or is this just wealth borrowed from neighboring states? The answer is complicated. On one hand, New Jersey has built genuine industries. The pharmaceutical sector isn't going anywhere. Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Bristol-Myers Squibb have decades of institutional momentum, billions in R&D infrastructure, and talent pipelines that would be nearly impossible to replicate elsewhere. The finance sector is similarly entrenched. The corporate headquarters aren't moving, and the proximity to New York City is a permanent geographic advantage. On the other hand, the commuter economy is fragile. If remote work continues to grow, if New York City's job market weakens, if a state like Connecticut offers better tax advantages and quality of life, that $61.7 billion pipeline could slow to a trickle. The property tax paradox only works as long as people are willing to pay those taxes for the privilege of living in New Jersey. If wealthy buyers decide they'd rather live in Florida or Texas where there's no state income tax and lower property taxes, the whole system could start to unravel. But for now, New Jersey has pulled off something remarkable. It's built an economy that doesn't rely on oil, agriculture, manufacturing, or any particular natural resource. It built an economy on pure intellect, on attracting talent, on building infrastructure that makes it easy for people to earn money elsewhere and spend it in New Jersey. It created industries that pay so well that property taxes become an afterthought. It turned its geographic proximity into an unfair economic advantage. New Jersey has more millionaires per capita than any state in America because it built systems that concentrate wealth. The commuter pipeline, the pharmaceutical empire, the Fortune 500 headquarters, the property tax filter. These are the result of decades of investment, infrastructure development, and economic strategy. Whether that's sustainable in the long term remains to be seen. But for now, New Jersey has figured out how to turn being next to New York City and being home to the world's smartest pharmaceutical researchers into the most millionaire-dense economy in the United States. So keep in mind, the next time someone talks trash about New Jersey, just remember, they're probably not millionaires.